guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this beautiful little girl's dress. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have your fabric folded into two. You see the first one is folded into two this way. I'm going to fold it, and then the second one is also folded into two this way, so I'm going to also fold it back. The first one I have here is basically the back panel, and then this one here is the front panel. So how I got the width is just her bust measurement round her chest divided by 4 plus like extra about 2 inches. That's if you want some ease in her dress, so she can get a longer weft out of it. So it depends on you. You can do her bust measurement divided by 4 plus extra 1.5. So for this one, round her bust is 24. By the way, I'm making this for a 5-year-old going to 6. So the bust I'm working with is actually 24 plus extra 2 inches is what I did here. So now her shoulder to waist is 11 plus extra 1 inch, half an inch for the shoulder, half an inch to join the bottom part to the body. And then you see the back panel has extra 1 inch, so the back is wider by 1 inch. This is going to be for the zip because the dress has a zip. So now the next thing I'm going to do is go up to her shoulder, insert her shoulder measurement divided by 2. So her shoulder measurement is going to be about 12 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 6. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 6 here. All my measurements I'm marking now are starting from my front panel. I'm not adding this 1 inch of the back. So I'm going to also go ahead from this point now. I'm going to come down by half an inch for the shoulder slope, right? And then after that, you're going to get the armhole. So if you don't know how to calculate the length you're going to use here, just use the same chest measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. Whatever you get is what you're going to use as the length here. So I'm going to be using about 6 inches here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And then I'm going to connect it all the way to the top part here, right? So once that is done, I'm also going to go ahead and give it a curve here. And then, so I'm going to mark the neck width I'm working with. So I'm going to do 2.5. If you're working with like almost 10-year-old, 2.5 is also good. But if you're working with less than 5-year-old, you might want to do 2 inches. So from 5 to like 10, 5 to 10, you can do 2.5. But from below 5, you can do 2 inches. You understand? Because you don't want the neck too wide. But if you don't mind, you can just do 2.5 still. So I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope all the way to this point. So this is going to slant the shoulder. And then after that, you're going to mark 1 inch for the back neckline. And then for the front neckline, you can come down at least 3 inches or so. And then after that, come down to the waist and do her waist measurement divided by 4. Normally kids, I don't take away anything from their waist because most time their tummy is almost the same as the bust when you take away once you take away the dart, because you're still going to be adding that here. Her waist is going to be 22 divided by 4 is going to give me 5.5. And like I said, you're going to add 2 inches, 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of seam allowance. You see, I have exactly what I have here. So if I add 2 inches to this is where it is. So there's nothing to cut out here. So I'm going to just leave it the way it is. And now I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the excess. So guys, if you look at the video, you will find that the back of her top comes down a little. So that depends on you. If you want, you can do that. So I'm going to bring this down at least 4 inches because I'm trying to replicate what I have on the picture. So let me bring this down 4 inches at the back. So that will be somewhere here, right? From this point to, because we already took out 1 inch for the neckline. So now I'm doing extra 4 inches. So in total, that will be about 5 inches that I've already taken out from this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out also. So guys, another thing you're going to mark is the nipple to nipple distance. So for her is about 6 inches. So I'm going to mark the nipple to nipple divided by 2 is going to be 3. So I'm going to mark, like I said, it's 6 inches divided by 2 will be 3. So I'm going to mark 3 inches here, and then I'm going to give it like a dart of, let's say, 3 inches of length. So it's going to stop somewhere here, half an inch on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and notch this point even up to the back, because I'm going to transfer the dart even up to the back. So let me go ahead and notch it. And that's it for our bodice. So I'm also going to go ahead by this armhole here. I'm going to just for the front, At this point, I'm separating the front and the back, and just on the front, I'm going to just remove a little bit, like quarter of an inch here, just so that my sleeve will relax better. If you want, you don't have to do this, but this will help the sleeve to relax better. So now after that, you can go ahead and cut out the sleeve you're working with. Like I said, this is going to be a puffy sleeve. So what I'm using here, it depends on you, the length you want. If you look at it, you'll notice that the puffy sleeve has a band at the bottom part, right? So it depends on you, the length you want the main body of this sleeve to be. So what I have in total here at the moment is about 7 inches, sorry. So I need about, let's say, 1.5 for the puffy part of the sleeve at the top, and then for the body of the sleeve I would need, let's say, about 6.5 or so. So that's what I have here. So first thing I did is to mark the 1.5 I'm going to use for the puffy part of the sleeve, and then after that I'm going to mark about 2 inches for the cap height. Mark that. And then after that, I'm going to connect from this point. After this 1.5, this is me cutting a puffy sleeve. That is how it's done. So for the width here, if you're wondering what width I'm using, this fabric is on a fold, right? If you're wondering the width I'm using, it's just her armhole measurements plus like extra maybe 1.5. That measurement you got here plus 1.5 or plus 2 inches. It's better to have more than not to have enough. So I'm going to connect from this point here to this edge. And then I'm going to find halfway through that line. I'm going to give it a curve below, coming up to where the half point is. But the remaining part of it, I'm going to take it all the way up to the top. Remember, I marked a line from this point to this point. After I've taken away 1.5 for my puffiness of the sleeve, I marked out what would normally be my cap height, right? And then after giving it a curve below now, I'm going to just connect it from here to the top of this. This part here will now serve as the puffy part of my sleeve. If I was making a regular sleeve, after the halfway point of this straight line, I would have connected it directly into the body of the sleeve. But since it's going to be puffy, I took it up. I'm going to also link a video on how to cut a puffy sleeve, which I already have. So let me go ahead and cut this out now. So guys, now that is done, the next step would be, you see, I didn't curve out, because normally when you're marking your sleeve, you would want to put her sleeve width divided by 2 plus your seam allowance and then cut off the excess. But no, not for this one, because this sleeve is going to be puffy, right? So what I'm going to do is I need to cut a band, and to cut the band, you need to measure her sleeve width by 2. So whatever her arm, like around her biceps, whatever it is that you're working with, remember to add some ease to it, right? So whatever you got when you measured it is what you're going to be using here. So this is something that looks like this, right? So let me fold it back again. I have 2 of it. If I open it, you'll see I have 2 of it for the 2 sides of the sleeve. I'm going to fold it into 2, right? And then what I'm going to do now is, to this measurement, I'm going to insert her sleeve width. And her sleeve width is 8 inches. Divided by 2 is going to be 4. Right, so I'm going to do 4 inches, and then I'm going to add, let's say, 1 inch of ease. Sorry, half an inch of ease, and then 1 inch of seam allowance. And so guys, you see, after that, I cut off whatever is left. So now this band is about 4 inches of width. So all I have to do now is to fold it into 2, right? And then I'm going to make sure that my sleeve, let me take one of these to illustrate. So you're going to find halfway through your sleeve, which is somewhere here for me, and then halfway through the band, which is going to be somewhere here for me, and then I'm going to gather this band in between, this sleeve inside of this band. You understand? Gather it inside of this band, so when you close it up, you form the band. So guys, this is what our sleeve is looking like. Like I said, you just have to plait it, especially in the middle. You can come in about 3 inches or 2.5 from the side, and then pleat the rest by the center, so that when you close it up now, you see what it will look like. It has formed the sleeve, right? And then you're going to also, the same thing you did at the top, you're going to also gather the top part of the sleeve now at the when you go to attach it to the body of the dress, and then close it up. That way you form the sleeve. I did the 2 of them already. So now, but before we go ahead to attach this, the next step would be to join the body to attach the design that we are working with. So you see, I've already picked my darts on the top. So the next thing I'm going to do is, you see what I have here is like a square, but I already folded it and then turned it over, closed it up. But let me tell you guys what the length is. So the length is about 6.5, and then the width is about 7.5. So that means when you go to do yours, you're going to remember to add half an inch for the top, half an inch for the bottom. This is what I have after I've used half an inch to join it. So that means when you go to cut it, you will cut about, instead of 6.5, you're going to cut 7.5. That way you have half an inch to close up the bottom, half an inch to close up the top. And then for the side, since one side is going to be a fold, you see this part is a fold, that means the width will be, for you, the width will be, instead of 7.5, the width will be 8 inches. That's half an inch to close up the side. So once that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here, place it by the center, and then you can see I already made a belt too. This also was about 5 inches when I had it, and then I used half an inch to close it up, so I'll have about 2 inches on both sides, and then I've closed it up too. So this one here is going to go at the bottom. In case you're wondering what the length would be, the length depends on you. So but for me, I'm using 18 inches here. So this one here is going to be at the bottom part like this. So I'm going to place it somewhere just like this, right? And then this here, you can use any color, but I decided to use a darker color since the cloth is already bright. And then I'm going to use this one here to cover it. But before I do that, I'm going to try to make like a pleat on this one here. So I'm going to pleat it to form a bow. So you see it's open this way. So I'm going to form my first pleat. About 4 pleats is what I'll add to it. Form the second one, the third one, and then like the fourth one. Guys, if you want yours to come down a lot more, you can do that, but I don't want mine to come down so much. I want it to stop somewhere here, because the belt will come up here and then the rest will just be the fabric going down, you see. So now I'll just use this here, place it on top. You see this fabric is about 3 inches of width. I ironed half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side. That way when I go to sew it, it won't be so hard for me. So once I place it at the center this way, I'll just make a stitch on the edge of this side, holding it down. Make a stitch on the edge of this side, holding it down. But guys, also try to not start at the very top here. Come down at least 1 inch before you start to sew this, because remember, you still use bias to run the neckline, and you don't want this bow to be caught up in the neckline. So you have to sew at least 1 inch coming down alone, just on this flat one, before you now enter the parts where there is the bow, and then just continue that way all the way to the end. So I'm going to go ahead and join mine. Once that is done, I'll join this side of the shoulder here. Join this side of the shoulder. You see I already picked my dart also, and then I'm going to insert this sleeve here, insert this other one too on this side, and then close it up on both sides. So guys, this is what mine looks like. You see I've joined the sleeve, joined this, sew this down. So I'm going to find like a white button to put on top here, maybe about 3 or 4, and this is what the back looks like. So this zip I have here is just going to be for the back. And as you can see, I've already used bias to run the neckline. So now all I have to do is just to take this here and join it to the bottom part. But if you're wondering what to use for the bottom part, so you can measure round the waist, right? Round the waist from the back, starting from one end to the other. You can measure what you have as the opening, and you can do times 2.5 for it, or you can do times 3 if you have excess fabric and you want it really full. So what I have here now, and then you're going to join it to the bottom, and then for the length, how you're going to that's if you want to calculate the width, how much you will need to work with together. So let's say if you measure the opening of the waist is 20, you can do 20 times 2 or times 2.5. For a child, you would want the flat to be full, so I would suggest you go anywhere from 2.5 or to 3. So you can do that 20 times 2.5 or 20 times 3. That way the gather will be full and look nice. So now the bottom part, this is what I'm working with. For the length, like I said, this is for a 5-year-old going to 6. So how you're going to calculate it is basically measure from her shoulder to her waist, which you already got here, and then you're going to measure from her shoulder to the knee or wherever you want the length of this dress to be, and then you're going to subtract this upper part, her shoulder to her waist, from the full length. So let's say the full length is 30 and then the shoulder to waist is 10. You're going to subtract 10 from the 30, and then that means this bottom part is going to be 20. That's if the length of this one is 10, that means the length of this one is going to be 20. And then the seam allowance you're sewing it with is going to be 1 inch just to fold the edge, hem the edge, and then 1/2 inch to sew this part here. So that means in total what you have, instead of using the 20, your seam allowance will make you add 1 inch at the end and 1/2 inch at the bottom. So that's 1.5, so 21.5 in total. So I'm going to join this together now and then put in my zip, and that will be it. So guys, this is the dress. I've gone ahead and attached the gaiter and then added the button. Like, you can add any amount of button you want. This is the back here. It has a zipper. So that's basically it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, please like, share and subscribe. Bye.